Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. Sorry for those of you who have been waiting. Had a little bit of a technical difficulties before we started, but welcome to Love Tips and Velvet Lips. I am your host, Marla Renee Stewart, here to talk to you about anything you'd like to talk about when it comes to pleasure, when it comes to the big O, when it comes to intimacy, relationships, all of those wonderful things. So if you haven't before seen this show, again, you can always submit your questions to me anonymously. You can do so by going to qrco.de/lovetipsama. Hi, Original Stace. Lovely to see you on the gram. If you don't know, we are live on Facebook. We are live on YouTube. We are live on Instagram. We used to be live on X, y'all, but they put the whole X premium thing in place, and now we can't go live on there anymore until we buy a premium membership. So not sure if it's worth it right now, but that's perfectly okay. I again encourage you to submit your questions for the program today. And today we also have a special guest. So if you have been following me, if you've been checking out the show on Mondays here at 9 a.m., you know that July is the month of pleasure. July is the month of the big O. And every week we've talked about something new, right? So for the first week of July, we talked about brakes and accelerators, right? Things that turn us on, things that turn us off, all of those amazing things that keep us going or stop us from having pleasure. And then the following week, we talked about flirting, what it means to cautiously flirt, to give compliments, to really connect with someone. Talked about a little bit about flirtationships and whatnot. So make sure you check those shows out. And then third week, we talked about some big O challenges, right? Especially thinking about, or we were supposed to talk about it, but I was in Houston and there was a lot going on. So I didn't quite make it to the show, but I did want to emphasize that, there's lots of big O challenges. And one of the problems sometimes that occurs is, if we're taking medication, which could not only lower our libido, but it could also really negatively affect sort of our, how our big O's get handled, right? Because sometimes they kind of dim down the O, right? And it's very unfortunate. So, it is, what it is. So with that said, today we're going to be talking all about practicing pleasure, okay? And practicing pleasure can be a variety of things. Now, if you have not downloaded my erotic activity bucket list, please make sure you check that out. It's bit.ly/eroticme. And when you download that free erotic activity bucket list, that activity bucket list, I should say, so I don't get shadow banned, we'll see, is what you do is if you have a lover or lovers, you fill it out silently, you see what your turn-ons on, what you would like to try, and then you trade in silence, and then you check each other's out and see if, those things are a match for you. So, it's really great just to inspire some newness and variety in your life and think about all the different aspects of pleasure that can come about. So please make sure you check that out. I just came off of a long weekend. I had a training on Saturday, talked about Black relationships in the South and how we deal with, identity tropes and gender role strain and all of those things. Really, I got to kind of take a deep dive into 3 different cases and then that I've had. And then yesterday, I was in Miami for the Reflect Collective brought me in to do a Survivor Full Moon Wellness series to start the series off. It was so good, so juicy. For those of you who did attend, it was a really great group of people. And I was super excited about that workshop because I hadn't had a chance to do that workshop in such a long time. But it was beautiful. You know, we got naked, we just were vulnerable and really got to transform, you know, some of that trauma to something that we, you know, can desire a little bit more. So thinking about our relationship to our desires, our relationship to ourselves, what it means to prioritize our own pleasure. So yeah, it was really, really, really great. So with all that said, again, this week is all about practicing pleasure. So I would love to bring up my special guest today, Mayla Green of the Adult Toy Shop. So thank you so much, Mayla, for being here.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
So I'm super excited because one of the things that I love to talk about, of course, are toys. Because toys are such a great way to practice our pleasure, right? And I know that you you know a lot about toys, and I know you have a blog you talk about all the things. So I would love to hear more about your perspective on practicing pleasure and what that means for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So toys are definitely a really good part of that. The stimulation is really gets the libido going, gets arousal going big time. So when it comes to practicing pleasure, a lot of times the first timers will ask me out of curiosity, like, you know, what kind of toy should I try first? What should I do? Don't really know. So you know, you go on to any online shop or even a store in person, and you see a whole wall of really neat looking vibrators and all sorts of fun features and colors. And the one thing that I like to promote is just the simple, basic bullet vibrator. It doesn't look flashy, so a lot of people don't even see it there. It's just like a simple, tiny little 3-inch long vibrator. And all you need to do with this is you just hold it over the clitoris. That's all you need to do. It's as simple as that. And you can have your fantasy, think about what you want to do, and just let the vibration take you to a good place. It feels great, and it's not even a complicated thing to use. It's a very, very simple toy.
So do you like when you think, you know, I love the fact that, you know, bullets are very simple. They're kind of like out of the way. And why do you think because there has been so much innovation around toys, why do you think the bullet vibrator like stays on the market? Like, why do you think it's so persistent and able to like be here and still sell, if you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Like it still has its spot in the store. I think the number one reason is because it's really popular for couples to use together. A lot of times you want to use a toy with your lover, but you know, some things might are a little bit too awkward to use, or you know, that just makes feelings uncomfortable. So the bullet vibrator, why that's so perfect is during penetrative sex, all you need to do is put one finger in between you and your lover's body and just hold it there. And so what it does, it helps to produce a blended orgasm, which is the combination of clitoral stimulation and vaginal stimulation all together at once. And that just makes the orgasms feel a lot better. It's especially useful for older women who have vaginal dryness or maybe into menopause. The extra stimulation really, really helps to loosen the tissue and make sex feel more comfortable.
Awesome. That's really, really great. And I know a lot of my audience is like, you know, stepping into perimenopause or menopausal. So the bullet vibrators, I think it's really great too, because you can apply that pressure like on the back of the shaft. Like if you think about like the clitoris itself, and you know, some people are really, really sensitive, and you know, so I often suggest, like, if you're super sensitive, like you can have it all over, you know, you can massage yourself. And you can use it anywhere. Like you can use it on, your chest, or, around your areolas or anything like that. And that can also be a source of stimulation as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's another great feature of it, is how versatile it is. You can even use it as like a muscle massager. If you think back to those magic wands, that's kind of what they were originally, but someone had a different idea of where to put it on the body. Same kind of thing. So it's also really good for couples who don't want to try anything that's, blatantly phallic. This is just a very discreet as you can get. So that also is a good reason to use them as well. So there's a few different types. So if you're looking for something, like I said, during penetrative sex, to sort of kind of get the libido going a little bit more, you want to look for the really, really tiny ones that you can fit in between your body. If you're looking for a lot of power, the rechargeable ones have more power than battery operated, simply because there's no room taken up by little cell batteries. It's all motor. So those are super, super powerful. And if you want to get your lover involved and have a little bit of fun, you're talking about your erotic bucket list there. The remote control ones are perfect for that, because you can give your lover the remote and they can control it whatever speed they want. And so they're sort of in control of your pleasure. So those are just sort of three different options to be noted.
Nice. I love that. And I love the fact that you say you can put it between, lovers' bodies, and it also can be a really great like grinding tool as well. So yeah, that's amazing. Anything else you'd like to add about, bullet vibrators and anything else we missed?
Yeah, I'm just okay. So I do actually have a pro tip. So you know how everyone always says lubrication is so important with toys, and it absolutely is. So when you're using a bullet vibrator, lubrication is not your friend here. I say use it dry, because what happens is that nice round profile of the tip of your bullet vibrator, well, that kind of matches the profile of the clitoris. And if it's lubricated and wet, it's just going to slide off. It'll slide all over the place. And if you're looking for pinpoint stimulation, you're not going to get it if it's lubed up. So keep it dry. It'll stick right there, and you can just press it on as light or as hard as you want.
I love that. And I think, you know what, a lot of people don't talk about that, because we always talk about, lube is always better, lube is better, lube is better. But you're absolutely right. If you want to not slip and have everything going all the which ways, then yeah, it's perfect to have it dry. And so, yeah, like you said, can stick there. So
yeah,
that's a really good pro tip. Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Yeah, and so we have a bunch of different selections online. I think the link will be there to the bullet vibrators category, so you can have a look. I have all the different types, and each of the toys has its own little video demo, so you can see what it looks like. The real powerful ones, you can actually see them vibrate on the camera. It's pretty cool. There's a lot of neat styles there.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So please, y'all, check out theadulttoyshop.com. /bullet vibrators. And if you are wanting to know how to use a bullet vibrator, please make sure to check out the blog. And all you have to do is put in how to use a bullet vibrator. Really easy. And there's lots of demonstrations, so you can figure out which ones that you like. But besides vibrators, I have a question here, and I'm wondering what your take on it is. So one of the questions that came in was, what are some things that I can do for myself in the bedroom? Would you like to take a crack at it?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I'm going to have to say that my answer to that would be have a fantasy and enjoy that fantasy. Like, think about it in your head. A lot of part of the arousal happens in the mind. And so if you've seen something sexy on TV, or you think of something that turns you on, really focus on that. Think about it. Let it get into your mind, because arousal really starts in the mind. If you can just let yourself go in a fantasy, that's a good start for pleasure.
Awesome. Yes, I love that. Get wrapped up in the fantasy. I'm also a big fan. Like I'm like very visual. So for me, I'm like set up the space, right? Like I'm always like burning my candle, making sure like the aroma is good and that you're feeling really comfortable where you're at and that you have everything that you need within a grab away so that you're not reaching or getting up or doing all the things. But I always say prep, set yourself up for success as best as you can, so that you can feel stimulated. So maybe for auditory people, thinking about the music that they play. So if you're thinking about your fantasy, it's so great because you're in your imagination, but playing some music that would be like to like help you curate that fantasy in your head, I think would be a really great way to practice pleasure, in the bedroom. And then if you are more tactile, sometimes I think, you can do a solo pleasure session by doing something different, right? Oftentimes we tend to stick to our beds only, or somewhere where we're comfortable, and it's just sort of like get somewhere where you normally probably wouldn't think you should or would masturbate, right? So maybe that is in the living room or on the couch, or I don't know, in your closet or on a random chair, or I don't know, in the kitchen table or counter or something like that. Something different. Or maybe you don't do it in the shower, so maybe you want to do that. So just really thinking about how you can change things up is a really great way to make that happen. So yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Mayla, for coming on and discussing bullet vibrators. Please make sure you check out the bullet vibrators here at theadulttoyshop.com/bullet vibrators. And if you're interested on how to exactly use one and all the different demonstrations that they have, you can just go to the blog on how to use a bullet vibrator. So thank you so much, Mayla.
Thank you very much for having me. It's been great.
Awesome. Well, y'all, it's about that time. It doesn't look like we have any more questions, but I just want to make sure that you check out the calendar. So if you're interested, I know some people are like, what are you doing? What's happening? You can always go to my calendar. It's velvetlipsexed.com/calendar and see what I have going on. You can also, if you are interested in getting my free Arts and Science of Seduction class, you can go there at velvetlipsexed.com/shop and get your free class, download the class, make sure you are doing the things you need to do to be, successful in and out of the bedroom. And of course, if you were like, I didn't ask my question, or I'm not really sure about my question or anything, you can always submit your question at qrco.de/lovetipsama. So that is it for today, y'all. I hope you have had a wonderful weekend. And I hope you start off this week in an amazing way. So thank you so much for being here. And we will see you next week.